Prince William will go above and beyond to control the monarchy's image by stripping non-royal.
Buckingham Palace has issued a stunning announcement that has sent shockwaves through royal circles. King Charles III has formally completed the legal process to activate the regency, transferring executive authority to the Prince of Wales, William. In the early hours of the morning, the king's motorcade departed quietly from the palace grounds, marking his official withdrawal from day-to-day governance as he entered a period of medical recovery. With that departure, Prince William immediately stepped into his new role as Prince Regent. Control over national security mechanisms and royal financial systems shifted to him at once, signaling the beginning of a reign defined not by ceremony, but by order and accountability. Yet while the palace presented a calm and dignified image to the public, insiders soon revealed a disturbing incident that unfolded behind closed doors at Sandringham. During what was meant to be the first private family luncheon under William's regency, Queen Camilla's two children, Tom Parker Bowles and Lavra Lopes, were abruptly removed from the dining table. According to multiple witnesses, royal security escorted them out through a side service exit on William's direct instruction. There were no explanations, no farewells, and no attempts to soften the humiliation. The sudden expulsion left everyone present in stunned silence. Was this a bold assertion of authority by the new regent? Or the opening strike in a deeper conflict against Queen Camilla's inner circle? More importantly, what discovery had forced William to act with such severity on his very first day in power? In reality, the transfer of authority had been quietly initiated 48 hours earlier under a classified protocol at St. James's Palace. In a closed chamber far removed from public celebration, William sat across from the Lord Chief Justice and the Home Secretary. The atmosphere was somber and tense, more like a courtroom than a coronation. This was not merely a temporary arrangement due to the king's health. For William, it was the moment he assumed full command, determined to excise what he believed were dangerous elements within the monarchy itself. Once King Charles's authorization became legally binding, William moved swiftly. He summoned the Director General of MI5 and the Keeper of the Privy Purse, both newly appointed figures, replacing officials known to be aligned with Queen Camilla. His first priority was not a public address, but control of the royal black box, a secured system containing sensitive financial data and internal security records, previously accessible only to the king and queen's offices. For 6 months prior, William and a small circle of trusted advisors had been quietly assembling fragments of information. But only under the regency did William possess the authority to unlock the highest-level encrypted files. What appeared on the screen confirmed his worst fears. Financial records revealed an extensive and carefully disguised drain on royal funds. Expenses labeled as logistics, estate maintenance, diplomatic planning, and event coordination had been inflated far beyond reasonable costs. At the center of this financial web were Tom Parker Bowles and Lavra Lopes. Though lacking official royal titles, they had allegedly leveraged their proximity to the crown to establish a network of exclusive suppliers, operating through layered shell companies in offshore jurisdictions. Invoices showed markups of 3 to 4 times market value. Even more alarming were payments for events that never occurred or were vastly exaggerated in scale. This was not careless spending, it was systematic embezzlement protected by Queen Camilla's influence. The Christmas luncheon at Sandringham unfolded under this shadow. King Charles, visibly weakened after extensive medical treatment, attempted to maintain a warm family atmosphere. Camilla and her children appeared relaxed, even boastful, discussing renovations and future projects as if royal funds were theirs by default. They did not realize that their position had already collapsed. William entered the dining room without ceremony and took his place at the head of the table. He barely touched his meal, observing quietly, his expression unreadable. When the main course was cleared, he gave a subtle signal. The doors opened not for servers, but for Lieutenant Colonel Thompson and senior members of the Royalty Protection Group. Armed officers in a private dining room shattered every rule of royal etiquette. William rose and placed a dark blue file on the table with deliberate force. "This ends now," he said calmly. "Effective immediately, all financial arrangements between the Crown and your associated companies are terminated. State auditors will recover every misappropriated pound." Tom Parker Bowles protested angrily, demanding Camilla intervene. She turned toward Charles, clutching her napkin. But the king was already scanning the pages of figures in front of him, numbers too stark to dispute. William offered no debate. He ordered security to revoke their access credentials, erase biometric records, and remove them from the estate via the service entrance reserved for staff. The message was unmistakable. As Tom and Lara were escorted out under guard, the room remained frozen in silence. William did not look away. That night, he returned immediately to London, launching a comprehensive audit campaign. Leaving Camilla isolated at Sandringham was deliberate severing her access to the palace power structure while investigators worked. Yet Camilla understood palace politics too well to surrender. She chose not legal resistance, but emotional manipulation. That evening she approached Charles not with anger, but tears. She reframed the scandal as cruelty, portraying herself as a mother humiliated by a son who had never accepted her. She warned Charles that William was dismantling his authority, treating him as irrelevant. The words struck deeply, feeding the king's fear of fading into obscurity. By morning, Charles called William, urging him to halt the investigation quietly. William refused. "I am protecting the crown," he replied. "If I stop now, I become complicit." In a quiet study, Charles read the truth line by line. The betrayal shattered him. When he looked at Camilla, the trust was gone. William spoke softly but firmly. There would be no public prosecution for the sake of the crown, but Camilla would be stripped of all roles, separated permanently from Charles, relocated under supervision, and cut off financially. 15 minutes later, she was escorted away. As the vehicle disappeared into the winter trees, William stood silently. Catherine joined him, taking his hand.